As expected, a love rival is the strongest catalyst for romance. Zhen Lu Zhou finally stopped keeping his distance. He took the initiative to chase after love. The truth is, when he was abroad, Zhen Lu Zhou was caught in an explosion. Because of that incident, his mother was determined to bring him back to China. However, his father and grandmother were strongly opposed. His parents had fierce arguments over the matter and eventually divorced. To his mother, sending Zhen Lu Zhou abroad was to give him a chance to grow, not for the reasons Zhen Lu Zhou had assumed. So when that place became dangerous, she could no longer let him take such risks. In that chaotic moment, when Zhen Lu Zhou was injured, the first person he thought of was Xu Zhi. Xu Zhi, upon seeing the news, was overwhelmed with worry. Only after hearing his voice did her heart truly calm down. After returning to China, Zhen Lu Zhou didn't hesitate to apply to Xu Zhi's university. But before receiving the admission letter, he was still afraid he might be celebrating too soon. Unexpectedly, the person he had longed to see again, but couldn't, now appeared before him in a college lecture hall like a miracle. Seeing the one she had missed so deeply appear right in front of her, Xu Zhi didn't feel joy, only anger. Zhen Lu Zhou knew, this time, he had really made her mad. From others, he also learned that many people were pursuing Xu Zhi. There was even a senior who brought her breakfast every morning. But Xu Zhi told him, "You bring breakfast too late." She had her breakfast at 4 a.m. Most people thought that was just a polite rejection. But only Zhen Lu Zhou knew Xu Zhi was telling the truth. A student from an ordinary high school who made it into this university. She had seen the sun rise countless times during her early morning studies. In the days that followed, to win back Xu Zhi's heart, Zhen Lu Zhou not only got up at 4 a.m. to bring her breakfast, but also went to class with her. Afterwards, he made up for the classes he missed. Fortunately, the heavens did not betray his efforts, and he finally had the chance to explain. When he spoke of what had happened, he merely said there were issues in his family, but never went into detail. The struggles in his family Xu Zhi only found out much later, and it was only then that she realized. Zhen Lu Zhou never wanted to play the victim. He was afraid Xu Zhi would think he was trying to gain her pity. When it came to Xu Zhi, Zhen Lu Zhou was always careful and considerate. People said Zhen Lu Zhou was the type to love innocently, but in truth, it was because Xu Zhi deserved all the goodness in the world. Because no matter what happened, Xu Zhi always stood firmly by Zhen Lu Zhou's side. The way Xu Zhi favored Zhen Lu Zhou, that was the most precious thing in this world. She once said, "As long as the rain still falls gently, and puppies still wag their tails, there will always be someone who loves you." That was the promise Xu Zhi made to Zhen Lu Zhou.